Hi, everybody. Welcome. Great to see you. Hey, Richard.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Afternoon.
Hi, Travis. Hi, Fiona.
Hello.
Robin,
Hi, Ollie.
lovely to see your face. Hello.
Good to see you too. It's been ages.
It has been.
Good to see you.
Oh dear.
Great to have people logging in from all across the state today. We'll give it a few minutes to make sure we've got everyone online and ready to go. Hey, Jason. All right, we'll give a couple more minutes. Get settled in. Encourage you to get a cup of tea, coffee, glass of wine. It is a celebration. 4 o'clock on a Wednesday. Great to see you've got your tea. Yeah, a couple of teas. That's good. I've got my water today. Oh,
I should have gin in it, but I do not have gin in it yet.
I've got ghost water, it seems.
Wow.
Kombucha, okay. Celebration.
Give a few more minutes.
Katie with some cuddly kids.
We, at about 2 minutes to 4, might have had a little accident with a pocket knife, maybe.
Oh,
That does not sound fun.
No, he's been doing so well with it. He's had it for about a year, over a year, nearly 18 months, and he's so careful with it, and he does really well. But yeah, of course, best laid plans. He walked in just as I was signing in with blood coming out of his finger, and I was like, oh, is this not a good time? I'm not sure if it's great parenting or slightly not great parenting anymore. But yes, my 6-year-old has his own pocket knife.
Now he's learning how to not use it.
Yeah, he's doing great. And some betadine and a Band-Aid, and he's good. He's gone to see his sister and show off his war wounds. So we're good.
It's nice when you go into scouts and things like that, you end up with your own pocket knife and all those things at a very early age, and you know, handling scorpions and spiders and snakes and things like that. So it's a no biggie.
Yeah, I grew up in the Great Southern and had lots of that kind of stuff from a very early age from a farming family, and so it's all good. Yeah, you go jump on the tramp. He's happy as jumping on the tramp. I don't remember the pocket knives in Scouts. I do remember the camp outs though with the s'mores and things, which was good fun.
You know, Bear Grylls sells a whole lot of these little knives and things, and that was the thing for kids to have, was the Bear Grylls knife, because it was multi-purpose everything. Yeah. You know, and then we had whittling and all sorts of stuff. It was fantastic. Yeah. And they were very respectful of it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, well, so is my son, and that's exactly why I got him into it, because he's really into whittling and things like that, and so we've taught him some good skills so far. But yeah, you can slip up and hurt yourself. I still do it, and I'm not young, so.
Love that, Richard. Hi, Katie.
Great to see you, Robin.
Yeah, you too. Actually, Richard, you were on my list today to call, and the day has just been crazy. So I will give you a call first thing in the morning.
I'll be on the highway.
You will. Okay,
Maybe in the afternoon.
I'm after some feedback about a particular program that I'm sure you'll be able to give me some info on, but my session is midday, so I'd need to talk to you early.
Try me in the morning.
Okay, we'll see how we go.
Yeah.
No worries, thank you.
Okay, I think we have everybody in the room. We've got 21 online, which is fantastic, and we might have a few more rolling through, but for the interest of time, I think we might get started if everyone is comfortable and good to go. Sound good? Amazing. I'll just share my screen. So, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. Really, really excited to be online with people all across our beautiful state for this virtual pitch night. Before we begin, I'd firstly like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that I'm meeting on today, the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, and pay my respects to traditional owners past, present and emerging. But also would love to recognise that we are meeting on many lands today across Western Australia. So if you'd like to type where you're coming from in the comments in the chat, I'd really encourage that as well. Tonight, we're going to hear from 5 really interesting and diverse founders and businesses from across Western Australia that I've had the absolute pleasure of working with over the past 7 or so weeks. We've come together to work on new ideas, testing, validating, and iterating on these ideas with a view of taking them commercial and, you know, really building the regions across WA, building prosperity and jobs and some really exciting businesses. Tonight, we'll have the opportunity to hear from each of our founders and really want to encourage this session to be as interactive and supportive as possible. Would love lots of conversation and also, you know, it's not easy pitching. It's certainly a challenge for those of you that have before. So really encourage you to be thinking about how could I potentially support this founder of the business and really welcome introductions. Each pitch will be having an ask and would be more than happy to connect you after this event as well. My name is Ollie Batzani and I wear a number of different hats across Startup Land, but today it's my pleasure to be representing the regional sprint under Space Cubed and +8 and also Skills of Modern Age, who helped facilitate this program. I have been, as I mentioned, working, have had the privilege of working with all these founders over a number of weeks and been really inspired by each of them. So really excited for each of you to hear what they've been up to tonight. For those of you not familiar with +8 itself, which is the umbrella that this program runs over, it's a program backed by Space Cubed, which is WA's premier co-working and innovation hub. And they're the brains behind this +8 program. Tonight, you'll be hearing from founders tackling both local problems and also global problems with global growth opportunities. But really at the heart of it, it's about growing the overall innovation ecosystem across Western Australia. For those of you that aren't necessarily familiar with the startup and innovation space in WA, we've got a really great and thriving community here. And a lot of that's being driven by the regions, which is why this program's been so fantastic, to be able to provide some of the support that is often common in the CBD area, but taking that out to the regions and really growing that there. +8 draws its name from WA's time zone, which it shares with over 24% of the world's population. So it's really recognising that we've got a massive opportunity in Western Australia to grow our technology and innovative business. And we're really trying to fill that gap for our founders here in WA. And all of this is made possible by the amazing support from the Australian Government, Department of Industry, Science, Energy and Resources through the Incubator Support Initiative funding as part of the Entrepreneurs Program. As well as that, we've got some amazing cash prizes tonight, which are thanks to the Basecamp Incubator based in Pollinators in Geraldton. We've also had huge support from the Department of Industry, Science, Energy and Resources, as I mentioned, Pollinators, and Mesh Points, which is really championing regional innovation. So there's 3 amazing prizes tonight, as I mentioned, cash prizes. We've got $2,000 going to the first prize, $1,000 to second, and $500 to third, to invest into their business and really help propel them on their journey going forward. We also have a golden ticket to the +8 Accelerator Pitch Night, which is the leading accelerator program in WA. So the winning pitch tonight will get fast-tracked into the golden ticket pitch night to have the opportunity to join the accelerator program. This is a bit of a track record around the accelerator. So each year, +8 invests in between 8 and 15 startups and provides seed funding to them. And to date, we've hit over $50 million valuation with this portfolio of businesses. And I'm sure that many of these will become household names in the future. And we may even see a couple more of those this evening. Now, to give a bit of context of what all of these businesses have been up to over the past 7 weeks, for those of you that are friends or family with them, you might know that it's been a tough and intense journey at times. We really have pushed them to really deep dive into all aspects of their business, exploring new ideas, looking at everything from a business model to understanding their customers, how to raise money and how to tell your story, and really everything in between. But tonight is really a celebration of all of that work. It's a showcase of the progress that has been made. And in the questions that you'll have the opportunity to ask tonight, I really ask you to keep that in mind when we're asking those questions, that tonight is really a celebration and a showcase of that progress. As I mentioned, there is a competitive element to tonight as well, and we have 4 amazing judges joining us tonight who we're very lucky to have on the call. So firstly, Anita Pavic. Anita has been in the WA state government for over 15 years now, specialising in industry development and innovation. She has a Bachelor of Science and Honours in Biotechnology from the University of New South Wales, and a real champion for innovation in the state. So great to have you here, Anita. Alongside Anita, we have Jason McFarlane, a really passionate advocate for regional innovation and economic development. He's spent over a decade now working with entrepreneurs, communities and investors to deliver transformative projects and initiatives that deliver local benefit. So thank you for joining us tonight, Jason, as well. Thirdly, we have Tash Ayres. Tash is the co-founder of AgriStart, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with from the regions, where she is currently the managing director, really focusing on ag tech and regional innovation. So it's amazing to have Tash as a real regional champion on the call with us tonight. And finally, but definitely not last, we have Katie Vanderbrand, who is the amazing Mesh Points lead. Mesh Points, for those of you not familiar, is an initiative that aims to provide practical support to local innovation facilitators who deliver social benefits to regional communities. And I've really had the pleasure of knowing Meshpoints and Katie and the work they've been doing for a number of years now, and has really been leading this regional sprint program. So it's been amazing to be involved and have you here as well tonight, Katie. Now, without further ado, we may get started and kick things off. Each founder tonight has been challenged to fit their whole pitch into just 3 short minutes. So we're going to see those pitches coming up there, pre-recorded as a video. If you have a question during the pitch, please pop it in the chat. And we will be asking those to each of the founders after the pitches. The judges will have the opportunity to ask questions as well as the community on the call. And then we will run through all 5 pitches to the end, at which we will announce a winner. Before we kick things off, does anyone have any questions? Amazing. Let's start. So I'll just jump onto the movie. And okay. Kicking us off tonight, it's always difficult being the first pitch of the night, but we have the amazing FIONA GRIFFITHS from Desert to Sea Audiology.
Hello there, I'm FIONA from Desert to Sea Audiology. This service is a complete online telehealth audiology practice, starting with tinnitus services and progressing to further services as I build resources. Most of us have experienced occasional ringing in the ears, but for some of us this becomes life-altering and we're often told to just get used to it. The statistics are huge, and this is worldwide and in Australia for hearing loss and for tinnitus. Hearing loss, tinnitus, they go together often, and so do hypersensitivity to sounds and other conditions to do with mental health that can be severely affected. And a cure is not usual, but relief and empowerment can come with individualised treatment. There's many audiology services around, but something's missing. Why don't people get more benefit from the services available? Many providers care very deeply about their clients, and many clients are happy with the services they're receiving, but many others report being dissatisfied or avoid interventions altogether. And that can be due to individual components, factors, it can be due to community factors, or it could be to do with the service itself. Many people feel unheard. Time to focus on you. We provide advocacy and no-nonsense advice, even when you're using other services as well. And it's designed for you in collaboration with you. I'm a senior audiologist with lots of experience, and I'm providing accessible services for regional, rural and remote clients. So far, I've collected tools and resources and training to pivot my practice in light of COVID, and I'm a member of consumer and profession-driven collaborations. The community has told me, they've actively encouraged me to get this going, and said that they will utilise the service as soon as it becomes available for them. It's a fee-based service with further funding planned. And there is a marketing plan, but I need coaching. And I would also love to have some financial assistance, particularly as audiology equipment is so expensive. I'm seeking early adopters as clients with reduced fees in exchange for constructive feedback. Thank you for getting in contact with me. Bye.
A huge round of applause for Fiona. Congratulations. I would now love to open up the floor to questions. Judges, please feel free to jump off mute and ask them directly. And if anyone in the room has any others, please drop them into the chat and I'd love to ask those on your behalf.
Yeah, I've got a quick question, if I can jump in. Sorry, I can't see everybody. Just had a quick question, Fiona, about the size of your community that you refer to, where that community is at the moment in terms of Facebook or on other social platforms or newsletter signups, or if you've got an idea of the size of your community and the potential of this work.
Thank you for that question. So I'm actually relaunching from a locum service that I had before COVID, and the size of the community is quite large, but I'm focusing initially on tinnitus, people with tinnitus, and that does link in with people with hearing loss and other issues, mental health issues to do with hearing loss as well. Pardon me. So my initial focus is very local. So I'm in Northampton, just up from Geraldton, and I want to give back to my town who've looked after me. And then I'm going to spread out to Geraldton and through to all the regional little towns within this area. So up to Carnarvon, out to, Mullawar and, further out. But ultimately I will be able to address this with anyone who can go online, because it's a telehealth service, largely a telehealth service with a mobile service in components as well. So the numbers will be, tinnitus is, as people who suffer tinnitus, it's only a couple of % of the larger percentage of people that go to hearing, who have hearing loss. So the services that are in action now, the big corporations and the big organisations, tinnitus is a tiny, tiny little slice of the pie. And so they're not, people with tinnitus aren't given a lot of attention. And it's a little bit too hard basket as well. So I think the size of this is it's going to be fairly specialised, but the size will be large because I could potentially go anywhere in Australia.
That's great. And I did forget to mention, well done on a great presentation and for being first off the rank as well. It was really great. And I think that's fantastic. It's great to hear that you're in Northampton and that you've got, the intent to expand out to those regional centres, where for me it becomes less about numbers and more about that personalised service. So that makes gives a lot more context to your presentation as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Sash.
Yeah, thanks, Fiona. Well done on a great presentation. I had a bit of a laugh when you said you're from Northampton, because my maiden name's Teakle, which is a bit like Smith in Northampton. I think it's very common. But I think you've got a lot of potential with what you're doing to link into the existing allied health services that are in Geraldton as well. That could be a really good source of referrals for you potentially. I know they've got a very strong team up there. My sister's a dietitian up there, and often when they see people present with certain things, they work across all the allied health team as well. So I think it's a really good launch pad that you've got Geraldton close to Northampton. I guess just you flicked over quite quickly because you focused on the problem a lot, which was great. It was really good for us to see, the market potential, because it is such a big problem. In terms of, I guess, the marketing, which you said you were going to do, but just rushed over that short on time, how would you market it to other areas? You're saying you're going to expand beyond your local community in Northampton.
Exactly how you have been speaking about. So word of mouth is going to be my biggest tool. I'm going to, there's a number of community pages. I'm actually on a couple of volunteer committees as well within our town, and there's a couple of community pages. So I'll be launching this initial things through Facebook pages and the newsletter. I'll be using you know, and through the medical clinics and so on in the towns that I am working in. And then I'm looking at creating an email newsletter, so there'll be, you know, people will have access to regular trickles of helpful information. So, and I'll have a website, and I've been toying with the idea of linking in with other larger organisations, working in cooperation with them, so that again, that word of mouth and that connection and sharing of clients, I guess, will happen as well. So because I can work in conjunction with people, I'm sort of filling in the gaps a little bit. I can work in conjunction with these services. There's no, you know, it's not like a clash of, you know, competition. It's actually more a collaborative format. So there's going to be networking. I'm looking at creating user groups and those sorts of things online, doing Zoom webinars, webinars and things. So it's very much going to be a network. It's a bringing people into the family kind of system that I'm trying to go for.
Great, thanks, Fiona.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Fiona. And oh, sorry, Anita. Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say another quick question for Fiona. Fantastic effort on your first on the first presentation for the night. Thank you so much, Fiona. Just a quick question. Other than advocacy, will you be looking at diagnostics as well?
Yes, yes. So the wonderful thing about this is that, so while because audiology equipment is expensive and all those sorts of things, I can work on essentially talk therapy and that sort of thing. And there will be assessments that are associated with that, because I need to know what people are going through, and I will use standardized evidence-based tools to do that. Then as I expand, of course, there's all these other links. So I will bring in equipment where I can actually do more hands-on assessments of people's hearing and so on. I can also, I will have standardized evidence-based professional interventions and things, programs as well. So yes, it's going to be a diagnostic service, but so think of the 80-20 rule. It'll be 80% about the person and coaching the person through that sort of process. But to get to that 80%, I have to do the 20% analysis and diagnosis. And I'll also be reporting to specialists and co-referring to psychologists and counsellors and other hearing services, etc., etc. So it's actually going to be a very comprehensive service, and we'll be able to branch into any of those audiological issues that people do have, with the initial doorway being tinnitus and hyperacusis and mental health issues around hearing loss and ear health issues. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that, and well done again.
Thank you.
Jason, I saw you raise your hand. Did you have something to add?
I was just going to ask, well done, Fiona. Great presentation, and thank you very much for kicking it off. It's never easy going first. I was just going to ask about I guess the income streams for your business. Is this something which is primarily paid for through Medicare and through existing healthcare sort of rebates, and those, or is this something that I guess is that your customers are going to need to value enough to essentially buy that additional service?
So in the beginning, it's going to be you know, I'm going to need to ask for fees, which people will be paying out of their pocket. The reason for that is that to get into things like the NDIS, which is the National Disability Insurance Scheme, and to get into Medicare and to get into, you know, even link up with the health services, I need to get it established. So there will be early adopters that will be paying a fee. And so I'm hoping to sort of work with people on that. Ultimately, there will be several streams, the ones I've just mentioned, but not all clients will qualify for NDIS or not. With audiology, there are very limited services through Medicare, which they're expanding, but they're still limited. So there's very limited access to Medicare with audiology. One of the things that I want to do is actually to be able to apply for funding so that people who can't afford to pay for a fee can actually be subsidised with the government as well. And so if I can establish this program solidly enough, that will be a definite potential. Yeah.
Thank you, Fiona. Another huge round of applause. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next up, we have the amazing Richard Keeler with his innovative lighting solution.
Good evening. I'm Richard Keeler and I live in Albany. 40 years ago, thereabouts, my wife's grandfather gifted us a pair of chandeliers. We couldn't wait to install them in our new home. Of course, we've moved many, many times since then, and those hardwired chandeliers have moved with us at great expense. Like all electrical work, there's an element of risk, and many people die in the home as a result of playing with electricity. So as I've moved these chandeliers around, I've always thought there should be a better way to do this. But then, even after I'd played with some designs, I thought, well, electrical component manufacturers or lighting manufacturers should already have been doing this, or they should be going to do it. So I abandoned the idea. 20 years later, there's still no way to plug and play light fixtures. My concept is to produce a global standard connector, which will enable a light fitting to be plugged in and removed easily. So it would be fittable at the point of manufacturer or at the stage of renovating, redecorating, retrofitted, or when a new home is being built. Research that I've done indicates that people get the idea, they get excited about it, and they believe they would use it. Retailers I've spoken to also think it's a great idea. They'd love to see people change fixtures into movable features and believe that sales would increase as a result. There is a sizable market already for light fittings, as we know, and the market's growing at a high rate as more countries embark on middle-class expansion. I have, in the past, been involved in the startup of 3 successful companies. I've been involved in rescuing companies in distress, and I operate helping small businesses achieve success. I'm a director of a health services company, amongst other things. All of the businesses and companies that I've been involved with in any depth have continued to grow and thrive. To approach this, I would seek a provisional patent, which I've started the process. Once that's established, I would work with an engineering company to refine the final design and ensure standards compliance. Once that's been tested and proven, I would go to the International Electrical Commission and apply for a global standard. Once a global standard is achieved, it would be similar to what we have with our standard electrical connectors, 240-volt plugs, etc. My objective is to achieve that before the expiry of the patent. Presently, what I'm looking for is that engineering expertise to help me through the next stage. Thank you for the time this evening, and thank you to Meshpoints and Co for providing us with the opportunity.
Congratulations, Richard. Huge round of applause.
Thank you.
Once
Who's the
again-
old guy with the gravelly voice?
Once again, I've just stopped sharing screen so we can see everyone's faces. Would really welcome questions from judges and the floor.
Yeah, I'll go. Well done, Richard. Great to hear another thing you're working on. You do wear lots of hats as well. And obviously there's a real market need here. And I guess, have you had any initial conversations with any engineers, or is that the next stage that you're up to after you get the
next
patent?
stage. Yeah, next stage. I want to get the provisional patent started before I start talking to engineers.
Okay, and have you already spoken to IP lawyers in regards to that? Because whether or not, you know, I don't know if it's a chicken and the egg thing. Do you need sort of some feedback from engineers on it before having the final design for the patent?
I can do an adequate enough design myself for the patent application for the provisional patent. Where I need the engineering expertise is for standards compliance, and also for information on plastics, which is where I'm probably thinnest in knowledge terms. But that won't affect the patent process. It will just affect some of the construction elements.
Yeah, and I'm assuming when you've done the search, you know, to check freedom to operate, there's nothing similar already out there?
No, nothing that I can find. I will sort of invest in doing some real hard searching once I've got that provisional patent process started. But there's, you know, a fair bit of expense in that, and there's no point doing it until I've got some protection. So yeah, but I've spent hours searching myself, and I can't find anything.
Great, well done.
Jason?
Thanks a lot, Richard. Really exciting prospect, and thank you very much for the presentation. I'm just interested in whether or not you'd considered and I guess quantified any non-residential applications for your tech and your opportunity.
Yeah, not greatly, Jason. I've sort of focused on the domestic market. It's a sizable chunk of the overall light fixtures market, but the research that I've done from organisations specialising in that area does indicate that there is a growth in the commercial market as well for suspended lights, which I hadn't suspected. So yeah, I would pursue that. Once the actual connectivity is established as a global standard, then it could be used for residential or industrial, as long as you're still only dealing with 240 volts or 110.
Sorry, Anita, you go.
Sorry, thank you. Richard, hi, Anita here. Thank you so much for an amazing presentation. I enjoy your passion and interest in this one. In regards to the global standard connection, I understand that, you know, electricity runs differently in other countries. So what you're proposing in your IP will cover all of that with a single connection?
As far as I'm aware, so there's 110 or 240 volts in most countries. There are different connectors for devices and appliances, but there's not a standardized connector for lighting. So some countries require 2 pins, some require 3. It can all be done off my design. We'll cope with either of those, either voltages or either 2 or 3 pin. Yeah.
And how is this one different to current plugins that you have for light fittings, where it just literally plugs into a power point that's just snuck up inside the ceiling?
Yeah. So they're LED in ceiling fittings. I'm not sort of targeting that market. This is for suspended light fittings, pendants, chandeliers, which is quite a large chunk of the residential market on its own. So,
okay. All right. Thank you. Congratulations again.
thank you.
Thanks, Richard. My questions have been answered. Thank you, other judges. But yeah, great presentation, and yeah, fascinating to see that this hasn't been sorted out yet after 20 and 40 years. So really fascinating to hear, and thanks for a great presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard.
Thanks.
Okay, up next we have Demi and Alan Bradley with Snap Pets.
Welcome to the Snap Pets presentation. Everyone has been close to a pet. Since the development of the smartphone, pet owners have found great enjoyment in taking photos of pets. Now imagine one day your beloved pet suddenly passes away with little warning. All those photos you have taken of your pet will be a priceless asset to your memory. Now you struggle to find all those photos, many buried deep in the social media platforms where you share them. Some mixed up with the thousands of images captured every day, and some lost forever on that phone you lost. Snap Pets is an app designed to capture and protect your pet photos, allowing you to take your pet photos, store them safely in the cloud, add fun filters to share on your socials. Snap Pets allows you to keep your original pet photos safe and secure and fully accessible to relive all those beautiful memories with your pet. 62% of Australians have a pet. 59% of people who do not currently own a pet admit they would like to own one in their near future. Pet consumers spend around $12 billion a year. And our research shows that 40% of owners take photos a few times a week or more. Only 20% of these are storing them in the cloud. 50% only storing them on the phone, and 65% indicated interest in a pet photo storage. Pet owners are filling content on socials and starting to use human filters in an attempt to boost interest in their posts, but often their photos will be lost onto the platform or the filter will not work properly on a pet. We feel our target market is young female pet owners and plus 50 couples whose children are soon leaving home. Snap Pets will be a free app and contain free pet advice. A premium service will be available that provides a different range of fun filters, no advertising, builds a better health profile of your pet, and can manage pedigree certification and potentially pet genealogy. Our biggest competitor is Google Photos, mentioned by many in our surveys, which include artificial intelligence to sort photos, but does not provide tailored pet support and filters. Some vet advice and pet game apps also exist. Here's our team, a great bunch of people looking to attract funds and pet support to build a minimum viable product. Snap Pets is going to deliver a new tool for pet owners to securely store their precious pet photos, give them some fun things to use with their photos before they share, and provide pet advice and shopping opportunities. Thanks very much.
A huge round of applause to Demi and Alan Bradley. Congratulations on a great pitch. It's a great space to be working in. Everyone loves their pets. I'm sure we've got some dog lovers on the call. Judges, over to you. Yeah, Katie, please.
Yeah, just a quick one. Thanks, Al, for the presentation. This is really cool. I think that your demographic is spot on by the sounds of it. Just wondering what kind of price point you're looking at for the premium version of the app.
Yeah, thanks, Katie. And sorry, it sounded a little bit garbled, the presentation, when it was on my computer. I hope it wasn't as bad for you guys. Look, I think we haven't really worked through the price point as yet. It would be, but I suspect it'd be in the around the $6 to $8 a week mark for a premium service. And it seems to be on par with a lot of other premium services provided for similar type apps. And I just want to point out that Lingi is also online tonight. She's another valuable member of our team. Her name just wasn't included in the intro there.
Thank you.
Thanks, Al.
Yeah, great presentation, Alan. I have to confess, Google Photos did actually produce automatically a collage of my dog the day he died. It was actually a bit creepy that they did this automatically, obviously based on lots of phone calls going on the day he died. So I'm a bit creeped out by Google Photos. I guess I was wondering how yours would work. If you took a photo of your pet, would it then automatically link it to Snap Pets, or do you have to, tell it to go there, or how would that work?
We actually encourage users to use the app to take the photo in the first instance, and that way it would store it directly into the folder for that particular pet, and then it would upload it to the cloud. One of the things we're thinking of, maybe we could use the Snap Pets app as a user interface for Google Photos to try and build on that platform.
Yeah, and in terms of the build cost and time, have you got quotes from developers for that yet, or is it still just in the design and preliminary validation phase?
Yeah, it's all very preliminary at the moment. Ling, did you want to make a comment?
Sorry, no, Natasha, thanks for bringing that up about Google Photos, because in our initial discussions around that, we were looking for that differentiation. So I think yeah, the creepiness certainly does get you from time to time on that. So I'm sorry to hear that happened for you. In terms
they actually did a really good job, by the way. It was creepy, but it was a really nice collage.
In time, I'm glad you can appreciate it in the retrospect. The usability, though, is what's the most important thing for us. I mean, the problem it solves, or the problem we see it solving, is, again, that idea of ensuring that you have a safe and secure place for your precious photos. In theory, the principle can apply to anything else. But that combined with a limited social media, so we're not going for Facebook, not even for the usability maybe of Instagram of somewhat, but that the combination of the two, we see that being quite strong, and then also commercial. So there's some natural extensions of those that work both as a standalone app, but also perhaps as an extension of some strong brands that are out there. And one of the other extensions we were chatting about, and Demi had a great idea, and it's a shame she couldn't join us tonight, was in and around the sociability with other animals. For example, people have now a want and a need to step away a little bit from the engagement that Facebook has and limit that a little, but how great would it be to be able to know when your friend's dog was coming down to the park? And likewise, if you've earmarked someone perhaps as a dog you'd like to avoid. So again, those are dogs. It applies to horses, it applies to rabbits, it can apply to a lot of different animals.
Great, lots of potential.
Hi, Alan, and quick question from me. Sorry, who have I interrupted?
No, go, please, Anita.
Thanks again for a great presentation. Getting all the good ones tonight. Just a couple of questions from me. Snap Pets, do you think you might get any infringement issues? Will people think that it sounds too close to the word Snapchat? And how do you intend to protect this idea? Are you just going to try and get first to market with it?
Yeah, I don't think we've actually finally decided on the name at the moment, and we were thinking Snap Pets might give us a bit of rub with the Snapchat brand, if you like. We're walking a fine line there, so that's something we do need to thoroughly sort out. And yes, first to market's probably going to be the winner in this case.
Great, thank you so much for that.
Just one last one from me, if that's okay.
Yeah, thanks.
I was just, what are the next steps in development for Snap Pets? Is there, how do you envisage the prototyping and sort of testing this and development of this product going forward?
Well, we do need to come up with a minimum viable product in the first instance, which will simply be pet photo storage, and with a minimum amount of pet advice, and then some online shopping opportunities. Once we get that going, I think we'll start to build a customer base. Everyone that's been involved in the research that we've done to date has indicated that they want to participate in a prototype development. So I think we're starting to build a customer base already without even having a product. So once we get our MVP out on the deck, and then hopefully we'll be able to build from there and make sure we're meeting our customer needs. Ling, did you have anything to add?
No, that sounds great. Thanks.
Fantastic. Congratulations, the Snap Pet team. Thanks. Well done. Okay, up next, we have Travis and Ian from FLUX 121.
FLUX 121, connecting people and enterprise. Hi, my name's Ian. I'm one half of the FLUX 121 team. We are not here to simply build a better widget. Travis and I are here to make a difference and believe that those who can, should. You will, whether you like it or not, spend the majority of your life at work. Whether you've been laid off like poor old Dave here, or been out of the workforce for some time, stuck in a job you hate, or a student about to enter the workforce for the first time, finding the perfect job can be time-consuming, demotivating, and downright difficult. Finding the right employee is one of the most important tasks in business. The wrong choice can cost you more than just money. Currently, 7.5% of Australians are unemployed. More than 1.8 million Australians will be looking for a new job this year alone. We have surveyed and interviewed more than 250 people, and not surprisingly, they're all saying the same thing. There needs to be a better way. 100% of people surveyed have said they would like to see a measured culture within a business before considering to work there. 67% said they'd like to see a scored profile, benchmarking them against other candidates. Don't let people make assumptions about your suitability for a role based solely on your cover letter, resume, and application ever again. We need a world where people can find better jobs faster and employers can find better employees quicker and cheaper. Imagine if LinkedIn, Seek, and Booking.com had a baby. It might look something like FLUX 121. We're streamlining and rebalancing the employment journey, bringing innovation through simple transparency, clarity of purpose, and a deep focus on the human element. Both employee and employer have individual needs. What if both sides got exactly what they needed on the employment scale? Currently in Australia, there's a $15 billion recruitment industry. We are here to challenge the status quo and offer people a different system, one where you can see if the grass is greener on the other side. Our platform will be offered free to the profile owner with a subscription model to the employer. A number of pre-identified secondary revenue streams will be added as the user base grows. The FLUX 121 platform is built around a core focus on a native network of past and present work colleagues. Initial market research indicates 9 new signups per new user. As you can see, we have some opportunities open in our team, and we're currently on a drive to fill these spots with amazing people. Want to be part of something big? We do, and we need your help. We have the why and we have the what, and we need assistance with the technical how. We are looking for mentorship and advisory, network introductions to potential key team members, and lastly, investment for us to build and continue to build the platform, because those who can, should. Jump on board, and together, let's rebalance the employment scale.
Well done, Ian and Travis. Big round of applause. Great presentation. Judges, over to you for questions.
Right, I'll jump in. Fantastic, Ian, great job. Really interested by what you're trying to do there. And I guess it is a very competitive market you're getting into. You showed how big HR recruitment is, very competitive, but you really did show how what you're doing is distinct. I guess in terms of the user business model, so the payment's going to come from the corporates, not from people applying for jobs. So I guess what's your strategy to get the corporates to sign up?
Yeah, look, great question. That's a really simple one to answer. It's mass. So once we can get a critical mass, then there's value behind that we can market to the corporations.
How are you going to get the critical mass?
So initially we're starting with a blue collar focus, targeted local businesses, and we'll offer a concierge service to essentially help us get that initial few hundred people. And once we get that, we see that it'll start to take off on its own. The product itself that we're prototyping at the moment really is fundamentally built around the core network. And there's some pretty significant things that are different in our system and our algorithms versus anybody else.
Yeah, I guess I'm focusing on the corporates because they're the ones that are going to pay you for it. But have you got any that might be some trial partners? I know you're trying to get the critical mass.
Absolutely. So we've got a couple of businesses already that we've been talking with that absolutely see the value in it, and would happy to come online. So yeah.
Good luck with it all.
Thank you.
Hi, Ian. Anita here. I'm just following up and adding a bit more with Tasha's question. Firstly, thank you so much for a great presentation as well. Just in regards to the blue collar workers, your competitors for those workers aren't LinkedIn and they're not Seek. There are other recruitment firms that already have, the scope of, welders and grader drivers and digger operators, etc. How will you compete against them? Because they've got the pool of clients and they will just directly deal with, the large construction firms and all of that stuff.
Yeah, no, thanks. So firstly, I suppose it's worth clarifying, we're not solely blue collar. We are blue and white. Blue collar is our entry to get running, I suppose. But essentially the differentiation is in the fact that you no longer need to go to that recruiter. You no longer need to go through that process. So the lines of communication can be opened directly to the candidate or to the potential candidate, which doesn't exist at the moment in the scope that we're looking at. So when you look at somebody's profile, you'll be able to see exactly, I suppose, in essence, who you see is what you'll get. They will be pre-verified. You'll have all of the pre-scored references and so on. So that saves time and money for the corporations, being able to cut down on the recruitment costs and the speed to onboard.
But doesn't these companies already do that? I'm using the blue collar example again, unfortunately, but they already vet all of them and they check their tickets and make sure that they can operate on, remote sites, etc.
Yeah, certainly. So if in that blue collar, if we talked about FIFO workers, for example, they have to have current tickets and so on to get on site. And you're right, there's recruitment agents out there that have that pool of candidates. But I suppose where we're looking to focus is more on the everyday roles in the city to start with. And when we get critical mass, that will come on. So the example we use is a forklift driver. If a forklift driver has a profile, and I'm a company looking for a forklift driver in the Welshport area, I can do a quick search, filtered by a number of categories, see that person and everything that they have about them, and then I can reach out to them directly. So I'm cutting down my costs with recruitment agents, cutting down my time to onboard, and then as that grows, we certainly envisage that'll go across all sectors.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for that, Ian. Much appreciated. And well done again on a great presentation.
Not a question, but just, well done on a good presentation. I think the questions from Tash and Anita were really good. And I think it's what's coming up for me, and maybe you'll be able to confirm with me, is it's at the moment there's a little bit of secret squirrel situation, I guess, with employees and employers and stuff like that. You don't know who's advertising. You don't necessarily know who your recruitment agency are looking at and if they're looking at the full picture. So does that, what you're trying to do, try and just clear that up and provide a real transparent process? That's the bit that I'm kind of liking about this.
Exactly right. So what we want to have is a situation where there's total transparency. So there's a whole nother side to this business that gets switched on when we reach a certain point. And you're dead right. Being able to be transparent is the key. So we're switching the balance from what used to be the power in the employer's favour back to the employee or the user's favour, and rebalancing that equation. And the only way that works is if lines of communication and transparency are open.
Yeah, cool. No, that's great. Thank you.
All good. Thanks, Jason. Well, huge congratulations. Well done, Travis and Anne. Amazing presentation. And finally, last but absolutely not least, we have Paul Dillon and his Why Commerce.
Hi, my name is Paul Dillon and I'm the founder and CEO of Mallee Rising. Today I'm going to be talking to you about why commerce and why it is important for small business and communities in regional, rural and remote Australia. Allow me to share with you the concept of why commerce. Why commerce is about digital transformation. It's about connecting time-poor, digitally illiterate small businesses with a solution which is right under their noses, and that are time-rich, cash-poor young people. It's a perfect match. So the problem we're trying to address is that there is a digital transformation happening. It was happening before COVID-19. It's accelerated rapidly during the health and economic crisis in recent months. But this transformation, especially around online shopping and commerce, it's not trickling down into the pockets of small businesses. It's going towards the global online players such as Amazon and Kogan. And this is probably because small businesses, they just don't have a presence or a seat at the table when it comes to shopping online. They're just not being found, and they're not giving local people a reason to support them because they can't find them. It's interesting to observe that during COVID-19, online transactions has almost doubled, going from 1 in 10 of all back in January to almost 20% or 2 in 10 transactions. So this transformation and acceleration of commercial transactions, it is going to continue as which we've seen during lockdown, and we need to help small businesses get a bite or a piece of that pie. The solution is, as I said, right under our nose. Young people. Every community has them, and they are an untapped source of economic growth. They are a sleeping economic giant. When I'm talking about the digital natives that we would be looking at with Why Commerce, I'm talking about young people who are in early secondary school and have more time on their hands. They're time rich and cash poor before their studies become too demanding. So we are building a bridge with Why Commerce between time poor, digitally illiterate small businesses and this sleeping giant in our community. We'll get young people building websites, online stores, creating content, managing social media, building social email marketing campaigns. We will accelerate and get more and more small businesses participating in the digital economy, and we can make it happen fast because the people who will be doing it for them are digital natives, and it comes naturally to them. Everybody wins. It'll have an immediate economic impact and begin revitalizing regional, rural and remote communities in a very quick time. We will also accelerate the number of small businesses getting online and enabling them to reach new customers in new markets and bringing in new revenue streams, and to arrest this increase in shops closing and empty shops littering our main streets. The other winner is young people. They're going to get access to new income streams, and they'll learn valuable enterprise skills that'll make them more employable in the future when they enter the workforce. And many of them will actually have that itch they want to scratch and potentially become small business owners themselves. And if we can get something like Y-commerce off the ground, you know, we know that small businesses, I mean, that communities want to support local businesses. They just can't find them. They're not online because they're too busy and time poor. So by accelerating businesses going online, we make it a compelling reason for local people to buy local, because they can do it from their sofa, on their iPad or the laptop on the weekend. And we can get more of this money away from the global players into the pockets of our hardworking small businesses. So how you can help? You can help by funding a pilot program in a rural community. We want to pair 6 businesses with 12 young people. The money you will invest will fund our time to develop a proof of concept. This will be identifying with small businesses their pain points and training young people to deliver services that address those pain points we've identified. Y-commerce will train the young people, but will also remain that filter between businesses and young people to ensure quality control. Once we've run the pilot and measure and evaluate it, we can then look to scale it to more communities. So thank you for your time today. We're very excited about Y-commerce. We believe it is a solution which is within arm's reach. It solves problems and it creates opportunities, and it's on our doorstep, right under our nose. Thank you for your time.
Congratulations, Paul. Another amazing pitch and a really great idea. Thank you so much. And
thanks.
Paul's been extremely busy running a program this week as well. So really appreciate him getting that pitch done for us this evening. Judges, over to you. Katie.
Hi, Paul. Great presentation. Loving this idea so much for so many reasons that I won't go into tonight, but really like this idea. I've got a couple of questions. First one is, what do you see the importance of doing this in person, like having businesses linked with young people in their immediate location, so that real localized benefit? That's my first question. If you want to answer that, then I'll ask you.
So do I see it, that connection between a local person in that immediate community? I believe so. I mean, obviously now we're seeing a delivery of a lot more services and content online. So it could be somebody, and I suppose also the more remote the community gets, they may not have a young person on their doorstep that they could help. So you'd ideally want to match those businesses with people who are very close by, because we want to reinforce people coming in and shopping locally in these businesses as well, and understanding the importance. So ideally, where possible, matching local young people with local businesses. Yeah.
But really being open to the fact that that might not be possible as well.
Not always practical. Yeah.
The other question I had was around traction, and whether you've kind of floated this idea or tried it out with any local businesses or any local young people, because I'd be often I find, and the feedback I get from a lot of people is that 15 to 24-year-old market are so hard to engage in pretty much anything that they're not super interested in. So I'd be fascinated to hear if you've had a chat with some of this demographic, or you've got access to them, or anything like that.
Yeah, well, I can only really primarily draw upon my time when I was young, pushing shopping trolleys. And I could just think that young people getting paid to do something which seems to come naturally to them, to be on devices, compare that to stacking shelves or pushing trolleys at your local Woolworths. I think it's quite a compelling alternative, particularly if that they can be paid at a higher hourly rate or higher rate than what they might get in retail or and so on. I've not at this point done that kind of research with young people. I have spoken to employment agencies about how that could look like with regards to how to engage young people in a kind of gig economy things, and they've been starting to talk about the kind of award you might pay them. So I've done a bit of initial discussions with employment agencies how to tackle it, but not necessarily with the demographic itself.
Yeah, cool. I think you might be spot on. It'd be really interesting. I think it's well worth investigating anyway, and it's a great concept. Thank you.
And if I can just add, this is something that young people could do at 2 o'clock in the morning at a time which it suits them, and maybe not the in retail or hospitality, you've got to be there when the boss wants you. But
yeah, it definitely suits that this new attitude that we're seeing, which is on my terms rather than for the employer.
Yes.
Necessarily, yeah, which is a gross generalisation, but we're seeing it more and more. Thanks, Paul.
Yes.
Yeah, great job, Paul. I'm glad I'm not the only one wearing a hoodie tonight, so that's good. I guess I was interested in the business model side of it as well. So you mentioned that your company, Y Commerce, will do the training, but will you also take a clip potentially on any of the services when there's a match?
Yeah, I think that's the way it's got to work. The way I look at it is I do consulting now to small businesses, but I understand a lot of businesses probably can't afford to pay me an hourly rate as a professional. So what I could see it as being is paying the young person whatever the award rate or around that fair price is, and that Y Commerce would take another percentage for its time in providing that training and that account management and all the reporting and everything that goes with that. So I'd see that, let's say hypothetically, if a small business paid $90 an hour, hypothetically for that service, the young person could be paid, and then the remainder, whatever might, and because obviously you might have work cover and other types of costs. I know we might even have to contribute to their superannuation. So there might be all these other kind of costs, as well as a percentage to monthly rising. But with that pilot and research, we might find that small businesses can really only afford $50 an hour, that kind of service. So we're going to have to really evaluate those kind of things during the pilot and research.
Great. I think upskilling young people, there's going to be huge demand for this type of service. So well done.
I agree.
Paul, thanks very much. Great presentation, really interesting idea. Is there any, through existing job pathways, even some of the JobKeeper initiatives, is there anything like this that exists that's sort of within the existing job training and skill development frameworks that might be a competitor to what you might be offering?
No, I mean, it's very early days in developing this this thought bubble. So I've not uncovered any similar programs. I think that one barrier to people developing something is how can somebody make a dollar from it? Because to develop young people with these skills, and the time to get them to a point where they actually deliver a service which a small business is happy with, then there's a risk these young people might actually just be unreliable and walk away, and they may not even be a good fit. That business owner A and young person A may not connect. So I think there's probably too many moving parts and too much of the iceberg below the water, which would probably be a barrier to a lot of people approaching this. So far that's what I think. I feel like the solution seems so obvious, and I don't understand why it hasn't been tackled so far.
Hi, Paul. Lucky last question from me, I think. Thank you for a great presentation. You certainly had me with the problem, and definitely connecting it with young people was a great solution, because digitization and upkeep of small businesses is really important. What I had an idea was just to further elaborate what you were thinking about with the connections. Were you thinking like a pool of people that would service a single business? Because one of the benefits of being a trolley pusher or a checkout chick and all of that stuff is that these large corporations can tackle when someone's sick that day or is unavailable or can't do it because there's an exam going on. Is that what you're thinking of?
Definitely. Definitely, because a business might want to get a basic social media presence as an initial step. So we might have several young people who have those skills, But as that business moves on and they want to start doing social media advertising or, tinker with email marketing, they would be then matched with a different person with a different skill set. So you'd need to have a pool. And my understanding is places like McDonald's, they have a lot of casual employees, but they don't give them many hours. They're on the books, but they're getting very few hours on rotation. So we could look at a model where somebody might be getting just a handful of hours based on what the needs are of the business or the temperature of the businesses is right now. And as that scales and businesses ask for new services, we've got people we can draw upon quite quickly. So we'd need to have a contingency for illness and people having other sort of conflicts for their time. Businesses themselves, they might have a terribly busy week, and they might be the weak link in the process as well. So we have to sort of plan for a lot of different contingencies. And
will you sort of try and keep it with only as SMEs, or like how do you sort of stop the likes of the big corporates going, well, this is a cheap service and a lot cheaper than my own social media people. I can just go and target these people, considering you're going to reassure QA. Will you sort of scale up things or pricing, etc.? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think we'd learn a lot from the pilot and then look to scale it. But Mallee Rising's mission, it's about rejuvenating regional and rural communities. So really, we would prioritize, and this is where regional Australia exports its youth to the cities to chase opportunities. We want to. All of our activities need to be about retaining youth and developing them, so that, because who knows, very soon people will be fleeing the cities and looking for a better life in the region. So it's certainly about keeping our talent and prioritizing our own businesses.
For sure. Anyway, great presentation. Thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you. Thanks.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Paul. Another huge round of applause for Paul and for all of our founders and their amazing businesses that they pitched tonight. I really want to again congratulate you all for your hard work, perseverance over the past 7 weeks. I know you're all incredibly busy people, and I really want to congratulate you on your growth over this period, particularly in the challenging times that we're in at the moment. On a personal level, really want to thank you for the support and passion and enthusiasm you've brought to the program. And I've learned so much from all of you, and it's been an absolute pleasure getting to know all of you and your businesses, and I look forward to continuing that relationship going forward. As I mentioned at the top of today, I really want to encourage everyone in the room tonight to have a really good think about how could you provide support to the founders in the room tonight. Is there an introduction you could make? Is there an additional insight you could provide? And we're more than happy to connect you with any of the founders that'd love to have a chat, I'm sure, beyond this event. So please reach out. Holly is just tallying up the judges' scores and having a look at that. So whilst we're doing that, I just wanted to give a plug to a couple of amazing opportunities coming up for the regions. If you're not following Meshpoints and Space Cubes, I really encourage you to jump online and jump on their email newsletters or on socials to be the first to find out about all these different opportunities. But one we've got coming up is through the Launchpad program for the Pilbara. So if you know any founders in the early stage or an SME looking at a new business in the Pilbara region, this is an amazing opportunity to do some similar training to this in a really intense short period of time, linking into our Launchpad program. I just had the pleasure of going up to Onslow and Carafa and spending a bit of time with some amazing businesses up there, and it's a really, really great program. So that's kicking off on the 2nd of September and all online for people in the Pilbara. As well as that, we have the Peel, Leap and Sprint programs kicking off in October. This one's in person, which is really fantastic in my hometown, so it's super exciting, fly that flag. And that's got a focus on the WA Food Innovation Precinct, but it is open to other founders and industries as well. And it's open to all. So provided you can get yourself to Mandurah, the Peel region, you can be a part of that one as well. Okay, how are we going, Holly? Are we almost there?
Good. We just had to do some quick maths. So
okay.
I think I've just sent them through to Jason, so we should be good to go.
Amazing. Okay, Jason has the big role of
no
doing
pressure, Jason.
Right?
Oh, drum roll.
So
no, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much.
One more minute. I've just got one more to submit.
Oh, go Tash.
Oh.
Sorry. Talk amongst yourselves. I mean, one more minute.
Good. That's so good.
Hey, Ollie, I've got a request.
Yeah, please.
Just want to ask people if it's okay if I could take a screenshot of the people who have joined to put on social media, just to say that I've gone through the regional sprint. So I just wanted to find out if anyone, you don't have to say yes now, but maybe you could, if you object, tell Ollie or Holly, and they can send me a message afterwards, and I'll use it or don't use it. But yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Paul.
If I don't hear from you by the morning, I'll just take it as a yes.
Sounds good.
Sorry, guys. Just some quick maths again happening.
No, that's all good.
Sorry, I was a bit slow.
Not at all. It's very...
Most well-considered judging answers from Tash Ayres. Very lucky.
I was too busy writing notes during the presentations rather than on the actual online form scoring. So, yeah.
It's awesome, though. It was good.
I feel bad. I sent my child away and I'm like, oh, damn, I should have kept him. I could have added to the scenery. I'm sorry.
This wasn't meant to be a family situation. There was a lot of excitement happening about them not being involved, and now they have been involved, and they've enjoyed the pictures so much, and they've enjoyed listening into everything, and they're really learning so much. And so as we talk about all of this stuff, I'm just thinking, in a couple of years' time, it's going to be these two that are we talking about in terms of the young people that are living and working in regional WA. So yeah, I think it's really great. So maybe you'll have to sit your kids in front of the recording.
I'm just going to say, are your children for hire? Because I could not bring my son to this. He'd still be talking.
Mine would not be that well behaved either.
Mine are very well versed in Zoom calls.
Perfect children. Thank you. Beautiful child.
They are the cutest, most well-behaved children ever.
They are.
I can
than adults.
attest to that.
Yeah. Now I'm embarrassed.
Yeah, make a noise. Do something crazy.
Yeah, don't take after mum at all. It's weird.
No, I'm not sure what happened there, Jason. I've been blessed. I'm not sure what. I must have been good in a past life.
Okay. I'm just getting the results through. They're coming through. Click, 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 click. Okay. So yeah, thank you very much. I think it's a testament to the program and to the participants. We've had such a diversity of projects from a range of different regional communities, and it's just great to see that our regional innovation ecosystems are producing great ideas, and there's that energy and spark that will make a difference, not only to each community by itself, but also to WA as a whole. And it's innovation is just so important in the world that we're currently living in. So yeah, from myself, thank you very much for everyone who participated. In first place, with a prize of $2,000 and the golden ticket, we have Richard Keeler. Clap, clap. Oh, I'm sorry.
One of our own. Go, Richard.
Thank you. I'm blown away.
So congratulations, Richard. Great presentation. In second place, just want to make sure that I'm not stuffing this up because there's been a couple run-throughs. In second place, with a prize of $1,000, we have Y Commerce, Paul from Y Commerce. Congratulations.
Well done, Paul.
And in third place with a prize of $500, we have Snap Pets with Demi, Alan and Ling. Congratulations.
Well done, Al. Midwest represent.
So no, congratulations to everyone. Look forward to seeing where these ideas go from here.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jason. And a huge congratulations to all of our founders. Thank you once again for all your enthusiasm and being really vulnerable and sharing your business ideas. I know that's not an easy thing to do, so I thank you for that. We will continue to be in touch, and you are now forever a part of the +8 community, and we will seek to continue supporting you and connecting you with mentors within the ecosystem. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much to all of you for joining tonight. As I mentioned, really encourage you to support these founders in any way that you can, and please reach out if you are able to do that. And beyond that, thank you so much for joining us on a Wednesday evening. Have a wonderful night, and we look forward to connecting again in the near future. Thank you again to our amazing judges also. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Ollie, and thanks, Holly, for organising tonight.
See you guys.
Thanks,
guys.
everybody.
We'll be in touch with you and everyone as well. It's been great to see you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Well organized.
And congratulations,
Well done.
Richard and everybody. Well done.